All right, here we go. Italian wedding soup. First thing, we're going to make our meatballs. So, I already have a few made. This is what the mixture looks like when it's ready to roll. See, like that? You want small meatballs. So, we're going to do some things simultaneously this morning. Since I'll go ahead and finish those meatballs off. Roll. While that's going, I have diced onions, diced carrots. Going into my Dutch oven. Get 2 little meatballs more. And we're just going to saute those brown on one side. Okay. We flip them over. This is going to be a very quick video. This is such a simple recipe, but it's traditional. It's called, again, Italian wedding soup. And we're going to just flip those meatballs over one time. And you can see they've got a nice brown on one side, and then we'll just pop them right in the oven. In the meantime, I have my onions and carrots rolling right there. Okay, so the onions are starting to get to an opaque. So I'm adding my garlic. Now there's one thing that wasn't on the recipe, but I'm going to put it on there and shoot it out. Sliced mushrooms. Wow. So delicious. So as we're sauteing the mushrooms, just kind of bust them up a little bit with your short tongs. And I've got the heat up to high because I want to make this quick and it makes sense for time. So the next ingredient that I'm going to put in, I have 1 quart of boiling water. You don't have to do that, but it saves you on time if you can put the water on the stove and have it boiling so that when you put it in here, it's instant. So you can see the steam from the water right there. So we're going to, in essence, deglaze that pan a bit. Look at that, it's already rolling up. So now we're going to add our chicken base. Elbow macaroni into the pot. And notice when you get all your mise en place, everything done beforehand, it works out so much better. So mise en place, as a reminder, mess in place, English version of a French term, which means having all your ingredients in one place. And ready to roll. Alright, so while that's boiling, we are going to check our meatballs. And before video, I had already cooked some meatballs. Just don't want to come out of the oven. And look, I believe they're done. So be very careful when you're taking your pan out of the oven because the handle is hot. You can always transfer this to another, like a baking sheet or something that will be able to catch the grease. Can you see the grease? We're not going to use all that grease. We're not going to pour it out. We're just going to fish the meatballs out. So one thing to remember when you're cooking elbow macaroni, it's a little bit heavier, it's more dense, so it will sink to the bottom much more readily than other pastas. Even with the vegetables that are already in there, the macaroni will make their way down to the bottom. So once they get, spend a couple of minutes in a boiling pot of water, stock here, then they won't stick to the bottom of the pan quite as they continue to become completely cooked to an al dente texture. So, see, they're still sticking. Now, our last half quart of water goes in. Now, so I think the easiest way to do this, probably for advanced cooking, will be just to separate the meatballs from the grease, and then fish them in. This is really simple. It's probably good for you to practice doing as well, because you can very gently set the meatballs into the boiling liquid as opposed to dropping them all from the pan or plate where they could splash. Not a big deal, but it's probably the safest way to go. And if you get a little bit of grease in the soup, it's really not that big a deal. Alright, so we will check our other pans that I just did with meatballs. Ooh, look, they look so yummy. I'm gonna open these up because they haven't been in there very long. Oh look, they're done. Nice. So when you cook them, when you roll them small like that, they cook much quicker. So they're done, and as the macaroni continues to cook, it's cooking in a pot of stock instead of water, with vegetables, onions, carrot, garlic, mushrooms, and the meatballs. So they're absorbing all that wonderful flavor. And this is really a great soup. It's very hearty, and it's also kind of light too, because it's not thickened with anything other than the pasta juice. Right? So, we have our kale. We have our kale. We have kale. So one thing, a little tip, when you are chopping the kale, the stems are pretty solid, pretty substantial. So you want to pull the leaves off of the stem and discard the stems, throw them in the garbage, and then lay your leaves, just your leaves, on the table and chop them up. So this is kind of a last minute garnish. Our noodles are ready, or macaroni as it were. So we'll turn it off. We add the kale, and then we finish it off. You know what? We can finish that off. The meatballs already have Parmesan cheese inside, so I'm going to save that for a soup garnish. And hey, why not use a bowl? Let's use a serving bowl. We have a serving bowl, a lovely Old English. And look, you can have as many meatballs as your little heart desires, and there is our finished product. We sprinkle some Parmesan on top. Let's do a zoom. And there's our Italian wedding soup. And that is all for the day.